All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the rectangle tool. Now we talked about this a little bit in the previous video, but I really want to dive into it now and really talk about the rectangle tool and all the options that you have available to you. So what I want you to do is do File, New, and we're going to grab a Web 1920 by 1080 template or file, and then we're going to grab the rectangle tool. Okay, and we're going to do a little bit of UI design here, just a little bit. So don't get too excited, but get excited. All right. I'm trying to get you to curb your enthusiasm a little bit. So what I want you to do is grab the rectangle tool, and I'm only kidding. I want you to be excited about this because this is a fun program to learn, and web design, mobile design is fun and exciting. Okay. So grab the rectangle tool here, and we're going to draw, not really draw, but create a rectangle that goes the width of the page here, or the canvas, or the artboard, whatever you want to call it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on fill. Just single click on fill, okay? And we're going to go to blue. And I want you to use this hex code right here. 0C1945. Okay, so that's the color we're going to use. Now, if you see what we did here, you can see what our height is. So you can see what our height is there. Our height is 67. I want it to be an even number, so let's do 80 and see how that looks. Okay, there you go. So you see what that does. If I undo that real quick, when I add 13 pixels to that, what it does is it takes my height and adds 13 pixels to it automatically. So let's do that. So let's type in 80, return, and then we're going to leave it as that. Let's hit Command S or Control S on Windows, Command S on Mac, and let's save this file. So let's call this my first web design. Okay, we'll hit save. And then what I want to do, so remember how I was saying in the previous video that when you work with the rectangle tool, or when you work with mobile web and tablet design, it's square. You're going to use a lot of squares to design your content. Okay. So what I want you to do now is I want you to go to a website for me. We're going to look at my current website, which is not done, but we're going to utilize a few things from my website. So go to learntechplus.com. And what I want you to look at is how I have this laid out. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to print screen this. Okay. So if you're on a PC, go ahead and print screen the your web page. Okay. I'm going to right click and I'm going to take a screenshot. And if you're using Firefox Developer Edition, then you can do this as well. If you do a print screen, that's fine as well. It doesn't really matter, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the dimensions from this, and then we're going to use this in our project that we're working on to learn the rectangle tool. So I'm going to open with, in fact, I'm just going to import this. So what I will do is I will include this in the rectangle part of the course. So if you go to lecture 26, I will have this image on there. So you don't need to print screen it if you don't want to. All right, I just want to make that clear that you don't need to do that. It's only if you want to, okay? But I also have the resources for you there. So there's our screenshot. So I'm going to close our browser here. And what I want to do is I want to go to File, Import, and we're going to import the screenshot. Okay, now the whole point of that is that I just want to get an idea of the width. We know is 1920, right? The height for this section here, with the kind of like our social media bar or our announcement bar. We're not going to include that in this design. But what I want to do is I want to see if our rectangle here is the same size as this right here. Okay, so if I right click and I bring this to the front, what that's going to do is it's going to, with a little zooming in here, we can tell where the line is. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see because it's navy blue on black, so apologize for that, but you can see here we're almost to where we need to be. So I'm going to grab the, let's go right there. Nice. So it's going to be, instead of 89, we're going to make it 90. Okay, so the height is going to be 90. Now, if I hold Alt and I drag down, then I can create another rectangle without doing copy cut or cut copy paste. We just hold Alt and drag it down, and then you're good to go. So with this one, what I want to do is change the color, and let's make this kind of a ridiculous color so it stands out a little bit. And let's do like a bright red. Okay. So you're free to pick whatever color you want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this up just to the top. So the point of this is I want to have good contrast so that when and let's turn the border off. There we go. I want to have good contrast so that I can get right to the edge of our example here. And then I'm going to click on the bottom here and drag that up. The other thing I want to do is I want to turn off the border for our navy blue navigation as well. Okay, so I'm going to drag that down right to there. The other thing you can do is you can just select this and type in 50 for the height, and we're golden. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to drag this to the top, and this is going to be like our announcement bar. Okay, now I'm going to change the color to match this. So we're going to use the eyedropper. Okay, and there you go. So now we have that done. And then we're going to grab this, the navigation. Let's move this down and then bring this up and kiss it right next to our announcement bar, right? And then I'm going to zoom in just to make sure that we don't have any pixels showing, because just a little bit of bleed will show white space, which we don't want on the top, because we want it to be a clean interface when people are navigating on our site. I'm going to grab the eyedropper again, and I'm going to click, and we're going to get that navy blue color. Okay. And then what we can do now is you can see I have a footer down here. Okay. And we just have the copyright sign, 2020 LearnTech Plus, all rights reserved. And then we have a bigger footer here with LearnTech Plus and all that. We're not going to do any of that right now, but you can notice that the navigation color is the same as the large footer here, and the announcement bar is the same color as the footer. Okay, so I'll delete that. And then what we can do, okay, there you go. So that's a way to utilize the rectangle tool. I realize that we haven't really made anything in terms of a design, and that's really not the point of this lesson. The point of this lesson is to show you how to create a starting point for your interface for web design. Now, later on in one of the projects that we're going to do, we're going to actually design my entire website from scratch, and we're going to be utilizing this same idea in that project. So that is the rectangle tool. So thank you so much for watching. And in the next video, we're going to add to this using the ellipse tool. All right. So before I go, let's do file save just so we have this saved. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.